going from? Welcome again to another episode of Creators Cawna. It's your boy Quilly, and today we have a special guest in studio. Thank you, Steve. Thank you for everything.
You're
If it
welcome.
wasn't for Steve, none of this would be possible because he was the one that actually taught me about the fundamentals of like camera, like like lens. He really taught me a lot. My cousin was there also, but Steve was really the one that really brought me into this. So I want to give you your flowers, bro.
Appreciate
Kudos
that.
to you, man.
Thanks.
Yeah,
Glad
so
I could make a difference. For real.
yeah, so we already have Steve in the studio. So excited. He's here to talk about his journey, the process. Who is Steve?
Damn, there's so many titles. So like, all right. One of the things that trouble me is knowing what to say first. So I think the first thing I was known as was an author. But I would say I am a creative, independent, an entrepreneur. I've done photography, videography, writing. I've done some podcasting. I've made music,
Wow.
filmmaking, all that stuff.
Well, you did music?
Yeah, I never put anything out, but
Like you were artist?
I rap, I write, all that stuff.
You rap?
I've produced songs too.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
so it's a little bit of everything, but I've
Wait, how long ago was this? I didn't know this.
even up to recently.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
word. It's just one of those. It's more like a personal project kind of thing. So everything
Okay.
else I do kind of like professionally as work, but like music is a little more close to home for me.
Got you.
So yeah, it's been good.
Okay. So you have mentioned that you have all these you were in all these hats.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say kind of led you into the industry you're in right now, the creative photography, videography industry you're in right now?
Okay, so like I said before, I was an author. That was the first thing I started to do, and even then, I kind of got pushed into that by like happenstance.
What's the name of the book?
Tales of an Unsuccessful Womanizer, but I don't really like to talk about it too much because it was like a different era. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
It's like a different time.
I feel
But it is very reflective of the time, and I've grown a lot. But that for what that is, that's a good capsule.
you.
But I started writing first, and I know we're talking about photo video right now, but I started writing first because of like a college professor that was like, "Hey, you should write more often," and I was like, "All right, cool," But it wasn't even an English professor; it was my calculus teacher. So it was
Really?
like the weirdest. Yeah, it was like the weirdest story. Maybe
So
I'll
how
tell
did
it
that
later.
came about? Like, did you saw you like?
All right, so I'm not the best at math in terms of like like high level math, like calculus, statistics, and shit. But for whatever reason, she had an extra credit assignment, and I needed extra credit, so I was like, you know what? Let me do this, and it was a writing assignment. I don't understand, but I needed it, so I did it, and she liked it. I got a really good grade on the extra credit, but it wasn't enough to pass the class. But in her telling me that she liked my my paper, it was like, okay, maybe I should be writing more often. She told me I should do it more often, so I started. But more specifically for photography, you had a question?
No.
More specifically for
fascinating what you're saying, bro. It's like
it's crazy.
You're a writer. Like,
Yeah. It's crazy. For photography, it was necessity, bro. It was pure necessity. Like I actually had
How
a
so?
group of friends, right? So like, maybe let's say I had 5, 6 friends, and I played video games with them all the time, and they were all photographers, and I was the only person that identified as a writer. So to me, I'm like, bro, y'all all doing the same thing. Y'all need somebody to write stuff for you. Like maybe you need this or you need that, but they're like, nah, bro, pick up a camera. So I was like, okay, I'm not doing that. That's not me. That's y'all. So at the time, I was driving for Uber, and I don't know if I ever told this story, but I was driving for Uber, and at some point, I lost my license. I got it suspended, and then my car was breaking down, and whatever happened, it was
Wait,
like
this
the
is when you had
perfect-
that nice car.
Yeah.
Okay.
I miss it. Whatever happened, it was a perfect storm of events, bro. To like where it's so crazy, where I couldn't drive to make money, so I couldn't pay for the stuff I needed to pay for because my license was suspended. So I couldn't make the money to pay for the repairs to get my car. It was like I would have had to just come up with like 3 bands just out of nowhere, and I just didn't have it. And that was like just to get back to be able to drive again.
Okay.
So it's not like I could work to make the money. I was already out, and I had to make that to get back. So I was like, nah, I need to do something else. So essentially, at that point, what I did was I was like, hey, look, my mom got a camera sitting in the crib.
Your mom's a photographer?
No, we bought her a camera because she said she liked taking photos. So we was like, all right, well, you like that? We'll push you towards something you like, you know? And her being a mom, never used it. So I was like, hey, this is just sitting here. I'm about to use it. It was a Sony A6000.
Wait, what?
It was a Sony A6000.
Wow.
So it was my mom's
That's a
camera.
crazy camera to really, like, a first, like...
Nah, I feel like at the time...
No, for your mom, though, bro. I feel like Nikon D300 or some shit like that.
You gotta give Mom Dukes the goods.
No, I'm not saying that she doesn't deserve it. I'm just saying, you know what I mean?
Yeah, nah. We looked at... So, again, my friends are photographers.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. So, I'm looking at whole lists of, like, they're like, oh, buy this, buy that. Actually, one of the guys is, like, a Sony brand ambassador. Or two of them. So, like, he already...
Oh, now?
No, even then.
Oh,
so
nice.
He was already kind of like, and he's coming back in the story too soon. Okay. He was kind of like, hey, bro, you should probably just get this one. This is probably the best blend of starter camera, but something you could grow with. Mm-hmm. So at the time, we was like, hey, let's get it. So we bought my mom that, but she never used it. So
so you took it.
It's in the crib. I'm like, hey, mom, look, I'm borrowing your camera today. I picked it up. I started learning. I started just like fiddling with it. I would bring it with me when I went to go hang with the photographer friends. And for whatever reason, it was like, oh, this is fun. I like this.
Okay.
But again, I was broke because I got fired from Uber. So I was like, damn, I
got fired from Uber?
Yeah. They kicked, like, after a while, when your license is suspended.
Wait, so you were driving with a suspended license?
Once your license gets suspended.
So what made your license get suspended?
All right, they got some, like, predatory practices. All right, so, like, they'll, like, set up traps, low-key. Like to where if you, so it was a case of where I got, I think, too many tickets in a certain amount of time, and then
why does that have to do with anything like
with Uber?
What he said? What was the word he called?
Predatory practices. Like the police, the NYPD, in addition to Uber, they have like bad practices where like, all right, so there's I don't even know if anybody would know this place, but over by like the meatpacking industry. Or the meatpacking side of like Manhattan, where like
the west side, right?
Yeah, west side by 14th over there, somewhere over there. There's a street, and it's a stop sign street, so it's not like lights. So you gotta stop and look where you're going, right? The stop sign is like 20 feet in the air. You know how normal stop signs are like maybe like 8 feet. The stop sign is like 20 feet in the air.
Tell me you're right, bro.
Oh no. The stop sign is here, and there's a no left turn sign 20 feet in the air, right? I maybe messed that story up. I'm gonna start again. So basically, you can edit this if you need to.
No, he's fine, bro. He's all right.
So basically, the stop sign is normal height. Facts. The stop sign is normal height, and the no turn sign is like 20 feet in the air. So if you're driving, right, it's nighttime. Granted, it could be daytime too. You're stopping as a driver, and you're looking to see if anybody's crossing the street.
Yeah.
And then because you're driving, you would go and do what you naturally would do. You're not looking up 20 feet in the air at the stop sign when the sign is that high to see, you know what I'm saying? Like you just can't see it. So I feel like I made a turn that one time and then I got a ticket, but I already had probably
there was a camera there?
No, the police were sitting right at the intersection, but they're on the opposite side. And so when you make a left turn, they're on the block behind you, and they're waiting for you to do that, and then they'll pull into...
That's crazy. They're just sitting around and wait for...
Yeah, it's literally entrapment, bro. And they know they do it there because the stop sign and the no turn sign is, like, stupid high. So, like, essentially, it was just a whole bunch of things that got me, like, ejected. Yeah. It was no, like, criminal cases or nothing like that. It was just, I just couldn't work for them anymore. So between all that, I had to make the bread. I didn't have the bread. I needed to go and do something. So photography seemed to be the first thing. Now, whole long story to say this. The first 4 or 5 months of photography, I ain't make no bread, bro. I was broke. Like, I was overdrafting. I was down bad. I was not doing it. It was like, I was just learning.
Where were you shooting? Like, what were you?
learning. Just I would go on Craigslist and apply for things, but because I didn't
Craigslist?
have, yeah,
Okay.
because I didn't have like a portfolio, nobody wants to see. You know what I'm saying? Like nobody wants to see
Yo,
your
Craigslist
starter
is wild,
photos.
bro.
I know, but like it was
Yeah,
just
it started.
the
Yeah.
only place I could find
Yeah,
because
yeah,
I didn't
yeah.
have resumes for experience to say, hey, I could do this.
Okay.
So it was like I just didn't get any work. Maybe like my friends might book me and it'd be like $50, $100. But like it wasn't
Starters.
like yeah, but that was like just barely scraping me by.
You were happy, right?
Happy?
Like
I was
at that
enjoying
time.
myself, but I was miserable because I was broke. So I was enjoying the learning process.
You were enjoying the creative learning process.
Yeah,
or you
for
was,
sure. I was.
But you was miserable that you couldn't. You wasn't financially stable.
No, not at all. I was so broke at the time. And it was like
It's when you were living at home at that time.
Mhm.
Okay.
It was devastating because it's like, damn, I lost the best paying thing I've had up to that date. I still had a car note to pay. I still had other,
Oh,
lifestyle
this is
things.
post suspension, and
Yeah.
still didn't have that nice car.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I was like scraping by, bro. Like I took all the money I
Yo.
had, still
That's
paying
kind
stuff
of wild
off.
though, guy. That's
Yeah.
kind of wild though, man. I'm not gonna lie.
Nobody would have known because I didn't announce it, I'm not
Yeah.
like, hey, I'm broke. Like I wasn't saying
Yo,
that.
that's crazy.
But the situation was I had all those things and I wasn't getting paid for photography because I just wasn't good enough yet at the moment.
Okay.
I was still learning. So, and this is where networking comes into play. Later topic, but important. The guys I was playing video games with that told me to be a photographer,
You
right?
streaming? Or just randomly?
I
think
just,
video?
nah.
Okay.
I used to have a gaming channel, but like
Okay.
it wasn't nothing like that at
Crazy.
the time. The guys I was playing video game with, his name is JN Silva, right? And I gotta like buy him a house or like a crib or something. I owe him a lot, right? But basically, one day he hits me up, and he's like, "Yo, bro, what are you doing from April 15th to the 21st?" And I'm like, "Bro, I'm unemployed. I don't got shit to do. Like, what you mean? What you mean? What am I doing?"
He's
like,
like,
"All right."
I do every day.
Yeah,
Nothing.
like playing games with you, nigga.
Yeah.
So he's like, "Yo, keep these dates open," and I'm like, "All right, like I guess, I don't know."
It's open. It's already open,
Bro,
bro.
exactly.
Like every day's open for me.
Exactly. So to me, I'm like, all right, bro, like cool. I fuck with it. Whatever you say, right? We'll see. And he's really successful. He's the Sony ambassador. I was telling you
Oh,
about.
the same guy.
Yeah, that guy. So like, he said that, and then maybe like a couple of days later, he hit me up and he was like, "Yo, bro, you're going on tour," and I was like, "What you mean? Like, what you mean? What you mean I'm going on tour?" He's like, "Oh, I set you up with the Joe Budden tour," and I'm like, like what? Like, how? Right? So I'm here. I'm like, I'm looking at this A6000. I'm like, I don't know if this is gonna cut it. I don't know.
It's you looking at it. It's like, yo.
I don't know if this is gonna cut it. I
bro.
got one lens. I got maybe
What
one.
was the lens though?
It was
The
the
prime?
kit lens, bro.
Oh
It was
my
some
god.
garbage.
Yeah.
I got one lens. The battery it came with. I didn't have gear. I didn't have flashes. I had nothing, bro. But
So
this-
wait. Were you shooting with the same camera? Hence why he saw you and felt like you were the person? Or you just told him that you had a camera?
No, we used to talk about
Okay,
it. Like,
and
I told
he-
him I started photography. Right?
And you told him about the camera that you have.
Yeah, but we're not done yet. Story's
Okay.
not done.
Okay.
So basically, right? This is why this guy is amazing. Not only did he give me the alley oop, he actually gave me like what I needed. Right? So he basically said, "Hey, we're gonna go to Adorama or B&H or whatever. We're gonna rent the stuff that you need. Here's the money. Go get the stuff." He told me exactly what to
word?
rent. He told me how much it should cost. He paid for me to rent it and said, "Pay me back out of the profits that they give you."
That's
So
a
not
real one.
that's a real.
Yo,
one.
that's a real one. That's a real one.
So-
Yo, shout out. What's his name again?
Silva, JN Silva
Yo, shout out to Jaden Silver, bro.
on the gram.
Like, you're a real one, bro.
For real, yeah. I owe you a lot. Like I send him a photo, I print like every time I can,
Okay.
like for birthday gifts and stuff like that.
I love that, bro.
Yeah. So
I love that.
basically, yeah, he gave
Like, we
me,
need more people like this, bro. In a
Yeah.
creative scene that
Yeah.
helps people that
Honestly.
are up already and feel like they need, like, you know what? I'm going to put somebody else on.
give that hand up.
Yeah.
So yeah, basically gave me the gig, and I was underqualified, and I'm not afraid to say that. I'm not ashamed to say that I was underqualified
For that job.
For that job.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Did
I
you
could
did you present that or
no, I'm gonna go into everything acting like I got it.
sure?
You know what I'm
Love
saying?
that.
But I knew I was underqualified because even in the same group of the 5 or 6 guys that I was telling you about, all 5 of them should have went as opposed to me. But it just so happened that I was probably the best person because I didn't have anything on my schedule. Remember, he asked me about the certain amount of days,
Okay.
right? So essentially, even outside of that group, there were other people that he probably could have picked, but he chose me. So that's why I feel like I owe him so much, just off the strength that knowing that I'm probably not the best guy for the job, but he believed in me, really kind of like set me up for success, right?
Okay.
So when I did that, and then as soon as I posted that, everything else photography wise like took off, because at this point now it wasn't like just some random guy taking pictures that it's like, oh, that's Steve taking photos for who? What? Joe Budden. And then it became like a big thing. And then also,
How did that feel though? How did that
that shit was
working
nerve
with
wracking. That shit was nerve wracking, bro.
like how did it make you feel? How did Joe Budden make you feel? Like you felt like you were like established or
Nah,
he knew
nah,
that
them
you were just like a
niggas.
because you know him, bro. You know
Nah,
how he
them
gets.
niggas knew I was green, bro. They knew I was new to the shit.
Yeah,
And I feel
then
like,
he's not the best person to really like.
yeah,
like,
nah.
yeah.
Actually, I think the first time I went out there, they weren't exactly happy with it. Happy with the work.
Wait, what?
Not because of any technical ability, but because
Okay.
I wasn't really capturing the right things. Right. So
Was-
they wanted like,
Did they present it like a mood board or
nah.
like?
You see how they set niggas up? They didn't. They didn't give me anything.
But then I mean, he put you in the spot.
Hey, I'm happy for the opportunity.
Exactly,
That's all I can say.
exactly.
But I remember, finding out that they wanted like more of a lifestyle photography job
Okay.
as opposed to concert or event photography.
So more so of like amplifying who they really are.
Who
Opposed
who
to
they
like,
are in the
what
locker
ambience
room
is.
or the green room, I mean, or like like that, like,
Like-
oh, we're on the road, we're on tour.
Not capturing the moment, the sense of that
Yeah.
what's happening, but just like I'm this nigga.
You know that picture of him crouched down with the hat case?
Yeah.
I took that picture.
That's you?
Yeah. So it's like
That's you, bro?
yeah, it's like little dumb shit. It's
Bro,
funny
what? Yeah,
because people bring it up.
Like do you don't post that? Like
Nah, I never posted it.
why?
He posted it.
But why you don't post it yourself?
I just felt like he posted it, so I was like, hey, whatever.
Nah, bro.
I probably should have posted it.
You should have.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not too late. I can still do it now. A little
Okay.
throwback,
That's
throwback
good work.
Thursday. But yeah. Long story short, I started to figure out what they needed, and then they brought me back for like 2 or 3 more runs because at that point I was already comfortable with them. They kind of knew who I was. I would ask them to take pictures at certain points that like made sense. But at the beginning, I was just taking pictures of everything because I didn't know what they wanted. So it was like, all right, well, I'm gonna just shoot everything. So yeah, that's kind of how I started photography. Videography came like relatively quickly after, and then I've just been doing both ever since.
Okay. So I had a question I wanted to ask you also. So I was like, can you share a time when you faced like a major setback and how did you like bounce back from that?
Okay, so that actually was the biggest setback I had had up until that point. Because I was like broke for months, and I was so frustrated because I still had bills. I didn't want my car to get repossessed, and that just picking up the photography and trying to like grind through it, that really like got me there. But I have a different story because I already told that one just now. In 2021 to 2022, I had the #1 event space on Pearspace in New York City. So that was out of
Wait, what?
Yeah, so I had the
you
#1.
dead ass?
Yeah, the #1 event space.
Yo, bro, stop. Can you need to big up yourself, dog? You need to
I
big up
mean,
yourself, dog.
thank you.
I feel like you're just not bigging up yourself because you shot that photo and I've seen that photo. I did not know it was you. You had the main space in New York, bro, and
Yeah.
you're just not like.
Yeah, #1.
I get it,
It's
I get
kind of
it.
crazy.
I
It's
get
kind
it.
of crazy actually because I didn't know we were #1 until they called us like, hey.
Was it something like a
Yeah.
plaque or award?
It was not an award per se, but
It was like
I went to speak to the company. So yeah,
So you didn't hire niggas like to follow you to the company, bro?
I didn't.
It's okay.
I figured I would get
I get it.
pictures from the company. They have photographers. They just never sent me anything. I have one picture from that day. I posted about it, but again, it's like only so much I can say. But
I'm proud of you though, bro.
thanks. So number one out of 1,500 in the city, and partially because of mismanagement, partially because I was just being like, whatever. I was like, hey, I'm up now, fuck it. We ended up closing. A little bit of racism in there, that's just New York City.
As in the
But
tenants, as in like the
the
neighbors,
landlords,
the
neighbors too,
landlords.
maybe, but the landlords.
But wasn't there the one that rented you in the first place?
Yeah, but they be changing their mind.
Oh, okay, when they
certain,
see the come up,
yeah,
that's
you
crazy.
know what I'm
It's like
saying?
when they see the vision.
They see certain things and they like,
Nah,
we don't do that
We
here.
don't do that here. Your
So,
kind gotta
yeah.
stay down there, boy.
Yeah. So they didn't care. So they ended up telling us we couldn't renew
Oh
our
no.
lease. Yeah, they told us we couldn't renew the lease. So we basically did all this work, put thousands of dollars into this space.
Was it a sense where did you guys throw any parties there that they were pissed off about?
We were the number one event space, so you could imagine
Okay.
the amount of traffic.
And
It was a
you
lot
know
of
what's crazy?
traffic. I'm not
Also,
gonna lie.
that was an industrial city, right?
That was in Sunset Park.
That's mad deep, bro.
And the craziest thing, right, is it wasn't a walk up thing. Like you couldn't see it from outside.
No, I remember when you threw a
Yeah.
party there and went there.
Yeah, you couldn't see it from outside. So to me, what that told us was that this is something that we don't even need the average
But
publicity for.
My thing is, bro,
Yeah.
that shit is mad deep.
And people still went.
Mad deep, bro.
Yeah, people still care.
What train line is that?
Whatever goes on 4th Ave after like Atlantic.
And you gotta walk mad deep to get to that
Yeah,
spot.
it was a couple blocks. But hey, look.
So look at yourself, bro.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah, bro.
Appreciate it.
I feel like you're not big up yourself, though. I don't know why. Like I feel
I
like,
be chilling, bro, because I'm like,
bro, you too chill, bro.
I got stuff to do. I still got mad stuff
I
to do.
get
That's
what you mean,
why I
but
be like,
celebrate your wins, bro.
yeah. I mean, what am I supposed to do? Like,
I mean,
I don't know.
okay.
I hear you. I appreciate it because I don't do it myself, so it's always
Okay.
helpful to have somebody else do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a moment for real, and I was definitely proud of it. So when that closed, I was definitely devastated. I'm not gonna lie. I turned to alcohol. I did a lot of
did?
partying. Yeah, I had alcoholic summer for sure. I did a lot of partying.
I'm sorry to hear that, bro.
Yeah, I actually had to stop for a while after that because the doctor told me like, "Yo, you're dragging it." Oh, word! I'm about to lose my liver or something like that. Like, let me relax.
Losing your liver is crazy.
It was more like itching and shit. It was just like I was doing like actual medical damage. But it was a fun summer, but it was just too crazy.
Okay.
So I kind of went off the deep end after like I lost the space because like again I'm making more money than I ever made in my life in the span of like months, and then I'm like, all right, take it down, and it's like what? So that really felt garbage. But this summer, this summer just passed in June, I opened up my new event space and my new studio. So I'm kind of back.
Okay. Where is this and what it's called?
This is called Site Studio. It's on Nostrand Avenue. It's right by Bergen. It is not as much of an event space, but it's like a full service studio. And I'm just looking forward to getting back to the top, getting another space, because I have the formula. So at this point, it's just a matter of like doing the reps, setting it all up again, making it work.
So do you feel like with the last event space was just the major setback that made you lose it? It's more so of like the landlord and I think you only mentioned the landlord.
Nah, I'm gonna keep it a band. I could have. Well, I had a business partner, but I definitely could have managed that better. I definitely could have been more.
Like you were slacking.
Yeah, but it was kind of like the lifestyle of. So again, you gotta remember it's events. I'm a young dude with more money than I ever had in my life. I'm enjoying myself. The social, I guess, notoriety that comes with it. And then having
you up now, like you,
you
didn't have it,
you
you
feeling
had
yourself.
it now, and he's like, I bet we up.
Yeah. You feeling
What's the
yourself.
word?
You start doing like maybe
Before he was like,
Yeah,
what's up? I don't think so, maybe, and I was like, what's the word?
Yeah.
Like, where we at? Like, what's the word?
Yep.
Got
So,
you.
addition to that, it was like, I just was like, okay, all right, it's good, it's fine. I'm not worried about it because we got to number one without knowing that
You're
like
number one.
Yeah.
And not taking that as a big like self praise where you're like we're number one, and there's the ignorance behind it. It was like, oh yeah, so we're better than everybody else, and we're just trying to amplify this over and over and over. But
Yeah.
just like understanding that you did something that made you number one,
Hmm.
and then now
Without
it's your
trying.
exactly.
So I didn't feel like I had to keep trying, and I was just doing what was naturally maintaining the business. And we had
Oh, okay,
bookings up
okay.
until the like the week or two we
Of
closed,
closing, okay.
because we had to like take the space down to
Yeah,
return it to normal. But we had bookings the whole time, so it wasn't like the business failed itself. It was I failed the business essentially by not being on top of maybe the events or the crowds that were there, or like hiring security, or
he was
making
just
sure.
free. He was just freestyling the whole thing.
Yeah, I was just vibing.
Yeah,
I was just vibing. I didn't have
fair
like a
enough.
game plan. I didn't have
Listen, the
a
fact
rule
that you
book.
initiated the whole thing,
Yeah,
that's the biggest thing, bro.
yeah,
A
yeah,
lot of people have it up here, but it doesn't like execute.
yeah.
The fact that you execute that whole thing and then you end up failed in the last stop,
Mm-hmm.
that's fair enough, bro.
Yeah.
You tried.
Thanks.
You
I
tried.
I do take pride in that particularly
Of course.
about myself. Like, I'm gonna do some shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of people talk,
Yeah.
and to me, this is the difference between the people that are gonna make it and the people that are gonna be like, ah, damn, I wish I. You just gotta do that shit, and I can't
So tell them
emphasize.
again, bro.
You just gotta do it. You just gotta get to it. We could sit around all day talking about it. You could have the best book in your head. You could have the best movie plot. You could be thinking about the craziest idea, but if you don't get up and actually like take the steps, that shit is nothing. It's just a thought. It's like a dream. And dreaming is cool, but we want to see like, the real thing. So you just got to do it. And that's something like I said, I pride myself on.
Okay.
Like,
That's fair enough. So within that period
yeah.
between the period of like closing and opening up the new studio, what was happening in that little
Bro, it
period?
was tough. I was just working like regular photography, videography stuff,
And how
like
was
really
that?
just paying the bills. It was really tough. Actually, no. I went away for a couple months.
Where'd you
Not
go?
away, not like jail, but like um I went to Barbados. I lived in Barbados for 4 months.
Wait,
Because
are you Bayesian?
yeah, both parents.
Are you Bayesian?
Yeah.
Why I feel like you're having like you haven't like put that forward that like
It's in my
represent
bio.
that
It's in my
Bayesian.
bio. Relax.
Nah,
It's
I feel like your
it's
bio
up
is
there.
crazy, but
But
yeah, you represented the actual.
I'm not like super. I'm not. I don't have the accent.
Okay,
I also like don't be back and forth there all the time. But
so you know Puffy, right?
nah,
You don't know him?
I never met him.
Okay.
I know who he is,
Oh,
but
okay,
I never
okay.
met him. But like I lived there. You know what I'm saying? I got in touch with
Yeah.
at the country at least. But I lived there for a few months.
See, both parents are Bayesian.
Yeah, both parents.
Oh,
Which is funny because they met here, which is I thought was so stupid. But yeah, like it was just yeah.
Where in Barbados are you from?
So mom's from St. John's and dad's from Christchurch.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know a place called St. Michael's or something like
There is. I don't know where it is. I think it might be. Actually, it might be in the middle. I think
that? Okay.
like somewhere in the
Now,
middle of it.
so you moved back to Barbados.
Yeah,
What what um what made you do that?
I was cold.
What?
I was cold. I had
Yeah.
more money than I ever had in my life. Remember?
Oh yeah.
And I was tired of just New York winters. So I was just like,
Oh, you were literally cold.
I was literally cold. I'm like, I'm not doing this. I'm tired.
That's what money does to you.
Yeah, yo, I keep it a band. I keep it 1,000, bro. I was just like, I could leave. I don't feel like doing this. I
That's
could leave.
crazy. Now you just leave and go to the next
I could
country because
leave.
I have money.
I had it.
Okay.
I
I
had it.
respect that.
And I want to do stuff like that again, but right now I have too much work to do. But
So trip to Barbados.
yeah. So I went
That
out
was
there.
amazing, right?
That was great. I'm gonna sidebar this topic because
Go
it's
ahead.
very important,
Go ahead.
and I feel like more people should keep this in mind. Um, I went out there and I didn't have anything to do. Nobody could tell me how to live my life, what to do on a day-to-day basis. I have family out there, but I didn't stay with them. So basically, I was just doing my own thing. And I feel like something that nobody realizes is low key from the day you were born to like even probably now, you probably never just got to sit around for a couple months or a long period of time and just do what you wanted to do.
Never.
When you're
Never.
a toddler, They teaching you how to read and no, before that they teaching you how to crawl, walk, read, write, school. School goes from K to 12. After 12, college. College you go to get a job. Grad school maybe, sure. The whole time is people pushing you to do this, pushing you to do that. And we also feel like we have to do A, B, C, D, E.
Yeah.
Just cuz like, oh, that's the next step.
Mm-hmm.
That was the first time in my life where I was like,
Chilling.
I don't got nothing to do today. What am I gonna do with my day? What actually is interesting to me that's gonna make me feel good? What's the thing that makes me say, oh, I want to wake up every day and do this? And that's the time where you would figure that out the most.
So, so you didn't go to Barbados with an ulterior motive of like, I'm gonna go figure out myself of like, how can I like be a creative out there, or start this or do this. It was more so
No,
of like
I was relaxing,
sitting
bro.
back and enjoying.
Yeah.
Okay.
I had
Damn.
one on a bigger scale than ever before in my life with the studio.
Mm.
So I was like, I think I need a break. Just off the strength of, like I said, the whole, and again, I'm keeping it all in context, right?
Mm.
Broke a couple years before.
Okay.
2019 was when I first started photography. Broke, started getting up. Then we had pandemic, and then got out the penny. Then I'm working, just working. Then I got to studio, and then that was the biggest win. And then I lost the biggest loss because I just like lost all that
Yeah.
progress low key. It felt like, at least, right? And then I went to um, that the whole summer of like I said, wilding, alcohol, bottles in the trunk, drinking before I went to the club, like shit like that, like where it was kind of like excessive. And then after I came off of that, I was like, damn, I need to like do something different, you know? Because the doctor told me, oh, you gotta relax, all that. So like, boom. Now I'm like, it's getting cold. I'm finna leave. So now, because I did all that stuff, I came off all that, so much ups and downs and
Mm-hmm.
dramatics. I'm finally like, yo, I could just do whatever for like these 4 months, December to April.
Mm-hmm.
So it became like, I had little personal things I was doing out there. I brought like the music thing, that like the with the squares, the
Mm-hmm.
MPC. Like the thing that
The
Kanye
beatbox,
plays,
the beatbox thing.
the one with the little like squares that light up that people do 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 do.
Isn't that a beatbox?
I don't know if that's what it's called. I don't think so.
Like he touches it and
Yeah,
makes beat with different
yeah.
lights.
I had one of those, and I was just
Uh,
out there like making beats and writing songs and
you
stuff.
connected anybody out there?
Um, yeah, my actually I have a like a stepsister, I guess, out there, and
So your dad is still living,
my dad lives there now. Yeah,
and you lived with your dad in that period.
no, I didn't. I lived somewhere else.
You rented a house.
Yeah, like an apartment. It wasn't a house. It was an apartment in a house.
My son getting the money, bro.
So it was a good time, man. It was a good time. So yeah, I was like every day just getting up and figuring out what I wanted to do with my day. Some days I would go to the beach with my laptop and write my book, you know. Some days I would go party. Some days I would link up with actual family and spend family time. Some days
How's the creative or
Yeah,
how does the creative scene out there?
I want to say I didn't get that in touch with it. I feel like
You
there.
didn't care for it at that point, right? You just like trying to like be.
I
you
did
and
want. I
live
did
you.
really want to relax.
Okay.
But I will say the camera work is different out there. Like how they approach certain things. Like a lot, I do a lot of I did a lot of event photography, while I was like coming up in New York and like the industry.
Okay.
So I kind of immediately went there looking like, hey, maybe I'll get into event photography. But I realized that it's a whole different like ecosystem, like the way they operate.
Like also.
It's a small country.
Okay.
It's a small country.
Not
So
that.
like it felt like there's only a couple people that they'll go to, and I would go to multiple events and see the same
People
photographers.
over and over.
Yeah, so it's like
A monopoly type of.
yeah, and not to say that I don't think they should get those jobs, right? Because if they made that stamp on the market, shoot, that's your market, right? But I felt like it was kind of the same people, and then also the way that they shoot is a little different. I find, you ever heard of Beijing tube?
No.
No.
Mm.
Okay.
What's that?
If you know Beijing tube, you might know what I'm talking about.
Yo, what's
They take like
Beijing
a
tube? Nah, that yes. What's on laughing at now?
It's not like
Yo,
like
comment in the section and tell me what's Beijing to,
it's
because
not like a X videos or something crazy. It's not like that. It's more like the way that they watch parties or that they do videography at parties is more fly on the wall. So like I feel like here everything is like in your face. Like the camera's in your face. People are like, hey, hey, hey. There because
more
people are
interactive.
yeah, here it's way more interactive. There because people might be like, oh, I don't want to be on camera like that. Or they just trying to enjoy themselves because it is a small island. Everybody knows everybody to an extent. I feel like the videographers are like 20 feet away.
Oh, one of those.
Like scoping, watching with a 7200. It felt so weird. Like you're watching somebody winding on somebody else, but you're like 50 feet back and you just caught a little sliver. And it's just like so different for me because I'm usually when I'm in an event,
You're
usually
in the
like
vibe.
there, I'm
You're
right
up
there.
you're
Sometimes I'm too close to the stuff, and I'm like, oh shoot, like I can't even get all of this in frame.
Yeah.
But they're like all the way back, so it was just so different, and I just felt like so. I mean, it's not like a better or a worse kind of
Okay.
situation.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was more like it's just so different than what I'm used to, and I was kind of like, I don't know if I get down with that. Like
Yeah.
it almost feels like spying or it felt like they were
Okay.
spying. But the quality's up there, bro. Like
Mm-hmm.
there are also photographers out there that rival anybody out here. Like it's not a better or worse thing. It's just different. So
And you feel like it wasn't for you.
yeah, and I felt like for me to push myself into the atmosphere of doing that, I probably would have needed more time out there.
Okay.
Or I would have needed a direct connect to somebody that would say, hey, you shoot at my thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if I wanted to, maybe it would have been good because people might have liked my different style.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't really know yet. Like I never did it, never really tried. But yeah, there is a creative scene. I find music to be bigger than anything else out there.
Okay. That's good. Yeah. So within that period of time, you were just like enjoying yourself, living your life, like taking a step back from all this like hustling, busting, the New York lifestyle of like always trying to have to like stay active, doing something. Like I know that felt so good just stepping away from that because I feel like New York is just like stamped in the fact that you have to like keep going, keep doing this, keep doing that. But end of the day, I'm sorry. Sometimes you gotta step back and really realize that life is not about like making money or grinding all the time, but enjoying the moment of it because then once that moment's gone, it's forever gone. It's never come back.
It's so real.
Yeah.
I feel like because at least in New York City, right, you are hustling all the time. You're like, what's next? What's the next big move? I think like being able to actually sit back and say, okay, I don't need to find the next move. I could just do whatever I want today and just chill. Or, like learn a new something because I already have all my bases covered. That was like a real luxury. And I feel like it showed me there's more to life than just grinding out the next gig or, trying to climb the social ladder or whatever it might be that like people do,
So all right. So how long you spent out there? You spent
4
like
months.
4 months.
Yeah.
So after all of that chill, laid back vibes, when did you decide that this is the time I gotta go back to reality?
I already knew the time was like pre-planned. So I already said
So you already
December to
December, April, you're gonna come back.
Because I feel like after 4 months, you're like, you just bullshit. Like you got to get back to work.
So what was your first day coming back to New York?
I don't even remember, bro. But I just remember being like, damn, it's still kind of cold. but I do know like when I was getting ready to come back, it was also a matter of like, all right, back to work. Time to go find this next studio. Time to get back to these gigs. I got work to do. I got to make money again. Trying to get into the swing of like New York life. And while people knew I was out there, it wasn't like the craziest big announcement. So it's not like I got like some wild welcome. It's just like it's like all right, get back to work. Get back to work.
And you went back to shooting and doing VR photography.
Yeah, that's still my bread and butter. Like photo, video work, like whatever it might be. I've done all types of stuff.
So how do you go about like creating clientele where like building relationship while struggling, not struggling, but just like the average, like coming up as a videographer, photographer? How did you build a relationship and have sustainable clientele in this period of time? Because mind
Okay.
you, you were going through a phase where you were losing your studio and you trying to come up, and it was
Mm-hmm.
unbalanced situation. So, how did you manage throughout that time?
I would say, excuse me. I would say the biggest thing that I found
Mm.
that helped me was actually networking and becoming a familiar face, and not only in real life but on like social media. Like that social media presence really helped. Um,
Was that hard for you
for me,
personally?
networking and being a presence is not hard,
Okay,
but
you're extrovert. You come up as an extrovert. I don't know if that's what I think at least.
bro, I feel like all right. So I feel like we all kind of somewhere in the middle, depending on where we are,
Yeah.
right? But I feel like if I am extroverted, it always comes out when I'm around certain people.
Okay.
But outside of that, I can be very introverted to the point where it's like, does he even like anybody? You
Really?
know, like very quiet. Um,
I don't see that.
because you're one of the people that I'll be
Yeah.
extroverted around.
Yeah.
So like, you would
Yeah.
never see it because I'm
Yeah.
not uncomfortable. I'm chilling here, you know.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, I think it could vary. But I would say honestly, bro, even if you are introverted, you have to find ways to put yourself in that spotlight. You know, and it
Okay.
doesn't necessarily have to be you, right? It doesn't have to be like your face.
You
It could be your
personally.
work. It could be your
Something has to go
signature.
out
Yeah,
there.
something has to be out there, right? Because like, I'm making a hypothetical. If you have 1,000 photographers in Brooklyn, and I just do that number up, there might be more, there might be less, right? 1,000, but you don't post on Instagram, and you don't be at the club, or you're not anywhere that somebody can see you. Why would I pick you to shoot my stuff as opposed to the guy that posted 4 times this week that I'm like, oh yeah, he's a photographer. I do need somebody to do my work. You know, it almost becomes of like a presence of mind conversation, like a top of mind, like not presence of mind. It almost becomes a top of mind situation,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because you're probably not gonna dig through your phone book if you need a photographer and say, who's the
Or
photographer?
Google.
Un- or
Okay.
you might, but even then, that's still top of mind because if you
Mm.
can get to the top SEO on Google,
Mm.
then you're first, and you don't have to remind somebody that
You are.
you're already
You are.
there,
Yeah.
right? Now, that guy that everybody forgets even takes photos, he's not getting booked because everybody forgot.
You're not posting.
Even if he's better than the guy that might be posting every day.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So essentially what happens is because of the fast-paced internet environment,
Mm.
you almost like fall off the face of the earth if you don't
Yeah.
show
Because it's 24
yourself.
hours.
Yeah, if you don't,
Everybody gets their own
yo,
24
bro,
hours. Like, you have
yo,
to be like this. But wait, so, and this is my thing, bro.
yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah.
how do you keep up with this shit, bro? Because I feel like a lot of these photographers or creatives,
Mm-hmm.
they, I wouldn't say give up, but just get discouraged in a sense. Because it's like, if you're getting up every day, posting at 8 a.m., 5, 6, 7 stories,
Yeah,
you only getting like 50 views or 60 views or whatever the case may be. And this is 1 week worth of no like official direct connect through your stories, but just like you just like posting. And then that discourages you from like keep doing that because at the end of the day, you were like, all right, so I'm doing this like for a week and I'm not seeing any like gain from it. So I give up. I'm not trying to do it next week.
all right,
Like, how do you battle that as a creative?
all right. So I don't want to oversimplify this, but it's very simple. It's either you continue to do it and you figure out something else that works, or you don't.
Okay.
Um, Now, within continuing to do it, that's where it gets complicated, right? Because it's like, am I gonna keep posting the stuff that's not getting any love, or am I gonna try to switch it up and get something else out that's like actually gonna work, right? So, like to me, that's essentially what somebody would have to do if they're like discouraged by doing the same things over and over and it's not working. You know what they call that? They say it's insanity. But like, if you can find a way to keep it fresh, do something new, then then that's where like it comes into like actually becoming something. I would just say like it's really like do you want to do this or not? And it's not to say it's like, oh, it's not hard. This shit is hard, bro. You remember the 5 months where I wasn't getting booked,
Yeah.
right? I mean, granted, I was still new, but like that was 5 months of not seeing any results, you know. And then obviously I had like a great come up off the Joe Budden thing. But then there's still definitely been times within then and now that I'm like, damn, I'm not getting booked. I'm kind of like my pocket's looking kind of flat. So you got to do something to like move it. And if you don't, then like who else are you going to look at, you know?
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I respect that. So, but so you saying that you just consistently doing the same thing over and over, and then, I mean, at some point you just gotta take yourself from the point of where you feel like you're gonna do this too much and it's not working out for you in your favor and blah 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 blah. But staying consistent or just don't do it at all. Is that what you're saying?
Nah. If you need to take a step back and then
Okay.
reevaluate what you're doing, take a step back, do
Okay.
that. But I think, oh, my fault.
Oh, you good?
If you need to take a step back, take the step back. Reevaluate what you're doing. But I think the idea that I'm really getting at is the only way to like get through it is to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Okay. You want to know till you do it.
yeah, you can't say I'm gonna be a photographer and then just get frustrated after a couple months of not being a photographer.
Yeah.
Or not being the photographer you want to be. It's not like, are you just gonna stop or are you gonna keep going? So it's kind of weird. But you almost low key have to just keep putting in the reps, even if you're unmotivated, even if you aren't happy with it, And this
And
is
nobody's
advice for
seeing it.
me, huh?
Or nobody's like seeing your
Yeah,
work.
and
Yeah.
yeah,
I
because
feel like that's the big takeback where people
somebody might see it
likes
though.
the views. But that's the thing. They don't think about that. They don't know that somebody's seeing it, but just not saying something about it.
There's that too.
And then it's like, if nobody's not saying anything, then nobody's not seeing it.
I think so I think when it comes to social media and views, I think some platforms are better than others, right? But this is where it comes down to maybe do some research, try to figure out what's gonna work better for you. Maybe TikTok is where you actually belong, or maybe it's Instagram, or maybe you find your love on Facebook or Twitter. It's really just up to whatever you can find. But I think like a big part of it is just putting in the work, even if you're not motivated, even if you're not seeing the results. Just knowing that like, okay, in some capacity, something's gonna come through.
Okay.
Like I've definitely been broke after the Joe Budden situation. So
Okay.
you would think somebody that went on this big tour, did all that stuff, would be like, oh, he's booked all the time. No, I've definitely been like, crying like, damn, where's the bread coming from? But am I gonna stop or am I just gonna
Keep going.
keep going? Because what for real? What else can you do at that point?
Yeah.
Like if you want to do this and you don't want to work for anybody else, or even if you are working for somebody else and you want to make this your thing, are you gonna stop taking pictures, or are you gonna like, just not do it at all?
Yeah, I feel that.
So,
So do you like say, with that being said,
mm-hmm.
I know it's a struggle like keeping up with the marketing, doing the back end of stuff, shooting, staying motivated, like bringing in money, like making it an actual thing, like monetizing off of it. Like as it relates to like life situations now, like relationship wise, how do you juggle that? Because I feel like a lot of creatives like they don't really stay in a lot of relationships with their people because the work takes away the time and like I don't know, how does that
Okay,
sit with you?
So maybe this quote applies. You can do anything but not everything. So I think when I think about that, there has to be balances of like, oh, if I'm gonna try and grind out this work, maybe I can't do as much of this other thing, right? But I don't like to live in a black and white, like in a black and white manner. I feel like you can do a lot of different things, but just know that some things are not going to move as fast because you're doing a lot of different things, right?
Yeah.
So, in terms of like relationships and getting help and, staying motivated and everything, I've been mostly single through this whole creative journey. So I don't really
Really?
have, yeah, mostly single. I mean, I'm again a single man date. Well, maybe some don't, but
What is that?
I've been, you know what
So
I'm saying?
expand on that, because
Date,
I
like,
mean,
like you might
no,
have
I
a
don't
little.
know. I don't
Yeah,
know,
you
bro.
do. Yeah, you do. I know you do. But you might have like a little,
A shorty
one,
here and
two, you know
there.
what I'm saying? But it may
Yeah.
not be like I haven't been in a relationship in years, and
In
maybe,
years,
yeah, in years, and maybe that's
bro.
my fault. I mean, a real relationship, a real
But what's the
relationship.
relationship to you though?
This is my girlfriend. You know what I'm saying? Like that. I
Okay.
haven't been in one of those in a while.
Really?
Yeah, nah, it's been a while.
Is it due to
It's
because that
probably
you
me.
feel like it wasn't you?
That's probably me.
That's just
It's
you.
probably me. Yeah, it's probably just me.
Like, like your ways.
Um, I feel like I'm kind of picky, but also I feel like um, when I haven't been, certain situations just didn't align to be what I would have wanted it to be at
Okay.
the time. And
You're
everybody,
picky.
different personalities just don't clash. And
You don't see yourself getting like married.
I would like to get married. Kids is up in the air sometimes, but I would definitely like to get married. I feel like that to me sounds like the actual life.
Would you marry a creator?
I think I probably need to actually
Do you think that would be a big clash? Like getting
because
somebody
we're
to do the
both
same.
creatives.
Yeah.
Nah, I think if you find the right person, and mind you, all relationships have like their clashes, right?
Okay.
But I feel like if you find the right person, what happens is they pour into you in ways that you need, and you do the same for them. Like let's say I am low on motivation, and they talk to me about an idea that I could use, and I'm like, oh, actually, I should do that. Like I feel like that's how two creatives could come together to make something bigger than what would have just been one or the other. It's almost like a multiplication of energy and talents and shit. So like to me, I think I probably do need a fellow creative because I don't know. I feel like
I don't
I've
know,
talked to
bro.
I've talked to
I
type
don't
A
know,
women
bro.
and
I
like
don't know, bro.
the corporate women, and I feel like they be a little strict and they don't really
But,
see the world the same way. We need balance though.
yeah,
We
that's
need
right. Yeah,
balance.
for real.
Most of my best friends in terms of like women are usually the corporate type, like
Okay.
accountants, lawyer types.
Okay.
So like I'm not saying I don't get along with that type of person. But I mean, to me, I feel like I need somebody that has enough of a creative side, even if it's not their whole world, has enough of a creative side that like could mesh with mine.
So what would be your ideal female,
Oh,
like you
that's
would
tough.
say?
We can't do that. We can't do that. We can't do that.
We can't use
We can't do that on camera, bro. That's crazy. What do you mean? I can't be like putting shit together on tape. Nah, cause imagine next time I talk to you, she gonna watch this and be like,
oh wait,
"Oh, you want this?" And I'm like, "Nah."
That's crazy.
I was just making it up.
But you
Nah.
dated creative though,
I've dated.
Okay.
Well, I've dated all types of women.
and that led you to the decision that you just said.
Most recently, I dated a woman that I felt like I had, or I was at least talking to. I won't say dated. Dated might feel too strong. We never got that point.
What's dating to you?
These are interesting questions.
Yeah, because I feel like
dating is talking with the intent to me of seeing what's gonna come out of this.
And how long does that take? Is there a timestamp on that?
Nah, I think you kind of know when you know, but when you know is when you decide to either take it there or not take it there.
Okay.
But I like I said, I would use the word talking to because we just were talking. We weren't really like, anyway. We didn't have much in common. And even though we had some core things like the same, a lot of things that I would have like looked for, certain energies, certain like forms of expression, tastes, I just didn't find it. Now, whether that's just incompatibility or not, it just felt like we lived in two different worlds at times. So it was like I might want to talk about this, and it's like, okay, this is what's interesting to me. This is what makes me energetic and passionate, and we could have a discussion and a debate about this. And they're like talking about, bro, I don't know, just
Some other stuff.
some other stuff that doesn't strike me as interesting,
Okay.
or maybe not even that, but like isn't what I'm looking to engage with my partner about, you know?
Okay. And then that, would you say that led you to the fact of sieving out through all this dating process of different females of different like background, trying to figure out who you actually like feel you should stay with in a sense, or
Um,
you just dating because dating was your thing at the moment? And
I feel like I'm sorry, did I cut you off?
oh no, no, you go.
I feel like you know who you click with
Okay.
when you meet them.
Okay.
And I have clicked with women that have been on the more corporate side, but I find certain things that I'm like,
How is that? I feel like you said stiflers, right?
yeah, I feel like I just feel like it's different, bro. Like the dynamics, the relationship dynamics are different. Like, for example, let's say you're into photography and videography, and you take a picture, and you might want to like share with them. And let's say your girl is also into photo video work. You might share that with them, and they might get excited, and that's like, oh, like y'all talking about that, and then it's like, oh, I want to do this, I want to do that, and that like that's fun. If you do that with somebody that's just not interested in anything that you
You want
do,
to get
is like,
that feedback.
yeah,
Feedback.
it just kind of like falls flat. It's like, oh,
Yeah,
that's a
it's a
nice
cool
picture.
photo.
Yeah,
That's
like you're like, oh damn, I thought this was my best shit ever,
yeah.
and I'm like, oh
That's a
yeah, no,
fact.
that's cool, that's nice. And then
And
they
that
like
doesn't.
ask you about what you ate, and you're like, what? Like,
Yeah, it doesn't sit
yeah,
well with you.
it's
I get
not.
what
It's
you
just
mean.
not the same. Certain things like click, certain things don't.
I get what
But
you mean.
I don't like to write anybody off until like I at least get an experience of what it is. So I wouldn't say know this, know that. I just find that certain things I align with more.
More.
Yeah.
Okay. And you said to me before that you wanted to like get married, have kids.
I yeah, sure.
Wait, you
Go
said
ahead.
that, no?
I said I'm not sure about kids.
Oh, you're not
I
sure
said
about
that's
kids.
up in the air
Oh,
because
okay. You want to pass
sometimes
on that legacy though?
nah, it's not about to me. It's not about the legacy thing.
Okay.
I mean, maybe it should be right.
Yeah. I
Maybe
think,
as an adult,
yeah.
I would expect to want to do that, or I'm
Yeah.
expected to want to do that. But like, I don't know. I haven't really come to a point where I'm like, absolutely. To me, I think what's more important is finding the woman that I would want to do that with, and she and our union would like make me inspired to say, I'm gonna have kids.
Okay.
But I don't want to. I don't want to have kids just to have kids. I know some niggas do. Like they just like they're like, oh, I don't care. I'm
not
having
having
kids.
kids.
Yeah, and I'm like,
And the drama comes.
yeah. Then you have BMs and
All that
BD
stuff.
trouble and nah, I don't want any of that. Save it.
Okay. I got you.
Yeah.
So like I feel like you've been through a lot, Steve, and you somehow find a positive energy just to like stay consistent throughout all this.
Mm-hmm.
Like one would say, I'm gonna give up. Like I don't feel like I'm gonna do this no more. This shit's not working for me. Blah 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 blah.
Mm-hmm.
But in honesty, if you could go back in time, what would you change?
The one thing, the the one thing feel like I would change, right? And this is just like quality of life stuff. I would probably just get like a part-time job that I actually fucked with, just like on the side, that didn't interfere with my creative work at all. Like something I could still do my work with and just maintain. I feel like the hardest parts of the creative journey for me have been those moments of absolute like broke, like absolutely no money, where you're
I feel like
like,
finance is everything for you.
hmm?
I feel like
Yeah, it
finance
is.
everything
That's
for you.
that's been the hardest part because everything, and not to be cocky, but like I feel pretty confident in my talents and my abilities. Everything I do is usually pretty good. So I think as long as I'm working and people are seeing what I'm doing, I'm growing. But if you're doing that and you're like down bad, it feels so much harder to like effectively create. It's like let's say you were talking about going to the gym. Can you really, like, go to the gym and put up a good workout if you're hungry? And that's kind of what it feels like. It's like, how can I actually focus on creating if I don't have
The essentials of
the,
life.
the essentials, the food, the sustenance to create? And granted, there is some, creativity in not having it, right? But I feel like that would be the one thing I would say, oh man, I probably should have just got a little part time. I'm not talking about you going to be an accountant or an MTA worker if you don't care about it, but like something that, could keep you. I feel like if I had that, I would have had a much smoother time getting to where I am now.
So do you feel like with the pay that you getting from like the art, like the creative art,
Yeah.
isn't that enough for you?
Still no, but that's because I feel like
Clientele?
I want to do certain things. I want to live a certain lifestyle. You mentioned my car from years ago. I like cars. I like
Like
traveling.
nice cars.
I like nice cars. So like, I want to have certain things. Right now, I could sustain my own personal life, but like it's not enough to get the let's say the finer things in life. Where I'm like, okay, I could splash on this or that. Like I'm not
But that
missing
takes
any
time though,
meals.
no?
It does, but that to me would be why I say it's not enough. Not because I'm like can't eat, can't get on the bus,
Yeah.
can't get an Uber. It's more like the comfort of what this lifestyle could afford. I would like to get there. Just the overall bigger picture of comfort.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not like you wanted to do it off the top and not just like build towards that.
Say it again.
It's not like you just wanted to like to get this lifestyle off the top, like being a creative,
Nah,
not just building
nah. I
towards
don't.
it.
I don't even think it's off the top. I feel like I put in a not well. Granted, some people might say I put in a lot of work. Some people might not.
I think you're putting a lot of work, bro.
And I would say the same. So I want to feel like what I put in is being reflected appropriately, and like all of my lifestyle choices or opportunities or like finances and all that.
Okay.
So I know it takes time. I mean, I've been doing it. If I wanted to quit and just get a job, I probably would have just did that already if I felt like, oh, I need to be rich now. But to me, it's like even if I don't necessarily need it immediately, I still want to be able to be comfortable on a level that like lets me live and still do the work.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, that's fair. That's a fair enough answer.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like what's for you, for you. You know what I mean? What you believe in is your belief. You know, people seeing you like from the lens of Instagram, they wouldn't know all of this stuff, right?
Yeah, no.
They
You
would have thought
wouldn't.
that this is picture perfect and
Nah.
he's doing all this stuff and making it happen.
Yeah.
But there's a trial and tribulation of like the ups and downs of you losing your studio, getting back a studio, going to Barbados, losing all this money, making all this money, lost your car, suspension.
Yeah.
You know, that's a
Yeah.
lot, bro.
It's been
A
a
lot.
it's been a very interesting journey to say the least.
Yeah.
I will admit, like, I do a good job of like
Yeah.
trying to keep it
Keep it
hidden.
hidden.
But I kind of do that for them and me, I guess, because like I guess it's aspirational in a way to see somebody that is living based on like their own personal goals and creativity. But I probably could have done a better job of being like transparent about what I was going through, and it has been a lot, but nothing that I don't think another person could also get through. I think as long as you're, like I said, dedicated to what it is you really want to do, it'll work. You just got to keep going, and it doesn't always feel good. But my thing is like, if you show up, even when you don't want to show up, at some point you'll get through.
So what would you tell like a young creative coming up, seeing Steve on Instagram, seeing all him doing all this event, having his space, making moves. Like what advice would you give that person that's coming up that's wanna like live in the shadow of you?
Um, so one, I would tell them, don't live in my shadow. You got to get you your own light. That's like a nice
What if
little.
they like
You know?
you inspire them?
That's cool, but I could inspire you, and you could be doing your own thing.
Okay.
Like I want everybody around me to shine, right? Like, and not to be. funny, right? But like I've taught a couple of friends how to use cameras, you know.
Okay.
So like
Hmm.
I'm all about uplifting my fellow people. You know, I'm a man of the people, I would say. But my advice is, I think the biggest thing is probably like I said, like take action and show up even if you don't want to,
Show up if you don't want. Yeah.
even if you're tired, like even if this shit sucks. Like if you can actually do that, like I've had parties, you know what I'm saying? And we didn't even really talk about the party aspect of what I be doing, but I've had parties where I was like, damn, I'm tired. I don't know how this is about to go. I wish I sold more tickets.
Yeah, because you do have the utmost like
Yeah.
serious thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um, I've had events where I was like, yo, bro, this night is probably gonna suck, but you can't quit. You know, you got people people looking at you, people might expect certain things, or even like you know you want it to go well, so you show up, even though it's like, yo, bro, I'm not feeling this. I'm over it. You know, I've definitely wanted to quit at many points. Like I don't think people can see that because I don't quit, but I've wanted to. I've been like, yo, F this, I'm out. But I
Yeah.
just something about it and me knowing like I won't be happy in any other way if I don't actually beat the thing that is holding me down.
Okay.
Just makes me come back. So yeah.
So you explained that with the whole party stuff, like you had a series, as I said before.
Hmm.
Um, what was that about?
Um, damn. So at most parties, and it's really just at most, but
What is
at most
Atmos?
parties is the gram. At most is atmosphere,
Okay.
right? So like it's an abbreviation.
Okay.
We usually have an apostrophe at the end. So how do I even put this? It's an umbrella. It's more of an umbrella than a party series. We just kind of use that because that's the easiest way to identify it.
Mm.
But like I do a lot of things under it, and I want to do more under it. But I know like the fastest way that I can get people to pay attention to what I'm doing sometimes is having an event, right? So like essentially, when I say it's an umbrella, is I want to do all things media and entertainment under this umbrella of Atmos, and it's almost like brand identity. Like Apple, they made desktop computers first, and
Mm.
then eventually they went to laptops, and then they went to cell phones. Like they may have started as one thing, but because of the umbrella and you trust the Apple like corporation,
Mm.
you're willing to try that cell phone
Okay.
that they made just off the strength of oh their computers are good,
Mm.
or they they have this thing that I like. Oh, iPods are cool, so maybe the phone like that's to me what Atmos is.
Mm.
It's like a brand that represents something bigger than me that I could say, hey,
Okay.
I'm doing this. Let's put this stuff in there, and it'll work because I like to keep a certain like you know
Standard.
yeah.
So it like throwing these events and being like so you could safely say you're a promoter.
Yeah, I
Well,
mean,
you don't use the word
that
promoter,
term
right?
is so sleazy sometimes. I feel like
Really?
people hear promoter and they're like, "Oh, he's a club promoter." I'm not really a promoter. I want
Um,
to say like put most
curator
yeah. That kind of I don't know.
sounds more cool.
Yeah, it's like oh curator, but essentially I am because what I try to do is curate an
Yeah.
atmosphere that people will like, and
Okay.
appreciate, and want to come back to, right? So like for instance, I think matter of fact, how about this? I'll explain my thought pattern. I spent so much time in clubs and venues and parties doing event photography, mostly sober because I know I need to do my work, right? Mostly sober. So
Mm.
for such a long time, like years, I was in places watching how the parties go, watching what works. Oh, it's too bright in here. Nobody's dancing. Oh, the DJ's not playing this type of music. Nobody's enjoying themselves. Oh, this audience needs this kind of experience. This, like I was just
Mm.
watching
The little stuff.
what the parties were and just finding like things that I didn't like or things that I did like. And I just kind of came to a point where I was like, all right, a lot of people are not doing what I want out of a party. And I feel like if I see this, then somebody else might also see this. So what I try to do is take all those elements and create an atmosphere that people like,
Which is Atmos.
which is Atmos. And one of the big things that we focus on is like putting us and our events in nice places, because I feel like we don't get enough of that. You know, like sometimes it's just like they'll throw us in the backyard. It's like I don't necessarily
Yeah,
want.
we don't need to be
I
in the
spent
backyard.
$1,000 on this fit. Not me necessarily, but I don't want to be in
In the
somebody's dusty backyard. You know,
Yeah.
so like I think it's just like atmosphere is really important for us, and we want to make sure it's catered to.
All right, cool. That was a really good conversation.
Thanks.
The fact that you've expanded on so much stuff. I feel
Yeah.
like somebody that's out there is really hearing this and is really inspired by what you said. But unfortunately, we gotta wrap it up. And
Yeah.
so we'll just do a part 2 on this.
I be
Part
talking.
few.
I be talking. So it's
Yeah,
cool.
I feel that. I feel that.
No pain.
All right, cool. So that was it, guys. As you heard it first, Steve himself dropped some gem on the Cawna, and very inspirational. So until next time, big up on yourself and walk good.
Next time. Peace.